Oh shit, I forgot to do the Instagram thing. Damn it, I was too worried about setting all the rest of this shit up. Oh man, this phone might have died. Is it not plugged in? It is not plugged in. Well, Instagram folks are just going to have to wait. You got to charge that, did you? I don't know why they leave it plugged in. There we go. Oh. Wait for it to get some juice. Wait for it to get some juice. So my light's coming from over here on this side. So a lot of this will be covered up with darkness. I have I kind of like the brush pen that came with the set of Uniball stuff. I don't know where it is right now. Maybe I already got it out, maybe. Doesn't look like it. But the brush pen that comes with, hey, what's going on? I don't know where the brush pen is that came with that. Maybe I lost it or something. That sucks. So we'll just use our regular brush pen that we always use. The Pentel pocket brush. And just do these little zigzaggy. This is a tree branch, so just do this to give like texture, because light's coming from over here. Hello, Sophia. Jordan. What's up, man? So yeah, this is a branch. So we can just make these weird kind of rando textures to kind of show that it's not a smooth surface, right? And then right here, we're going to cast a shadow. So we'll have it pretty. See how, like right here. Oh, dude, I have a remote control. We can zoom in. That's right. All right. Chilling, bro. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing my best, man. I hope you're doing well also. So yeah, so this right here, like this is her head casting the shadow down. So it means our light sources. And I don't want to throw too many shadows on the face. Working on 2 comics in tandem. That sounds like a task. Maybe you're writing one and drawing one. Are you doing art duties on both? Maybe you're doing writing duties on both. But I think, if I remember correctly, Sue's an artist. And then again, with a name like that, you can pretty much do anything, right? I'm kidding. But yeah, so just throwing these little textures in here. Because what the person is going to do that has purchased this is they're just going to frame it up black and white. So so it may never get colored. So I need to make sure that we've done everything we can to make the black and white version here as interesting and as, for a different word, entertaining as possible. So we need to, sometimes when you're drawing, you're like, oh, I can leave that up to the colorist to fill in. But in this case, there may not be ever a colorist, and there definitely won't be a colorist when they hang this on the wall. So you want it to look good without color. And that's, for me, that's kind of what separates some of the stuff that I do. What's up, Ava? That's what separates my stuff from some of the other people's stuff, is that I care about what the line work looks like, and I want it to look good as lines even before it looks good with the colors. Some people will just say, oh, well, when they color it, things will look right. And sometimes that's true. But I want to make sure, like, my goal is to make sure this shit looks right in just ink form. I want there to be no question on the detail, the shadowing, the shading, the light sources. And I don't want there to be a question of that. And some artist style just don't do that. Good, bad, or indifferent. It's just their style says, I want to open line art style. I want to let the colorist come up with what he wants. I don't know. Line work being tight is the most important part. Yeah, but you say that, Jordan, but then you look at movies like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and and Into the Spider-Verse, and that line work, granted it's animated, but that line work is not top notch. Like, it's not crispy clean. It's not tight, so to speak, but it works. So I don't think that tight line art is always the answer. But I do think that for Brian, tight line work is the only thing that his brain will really accept. I try to be loose. I try to have lines that don't connect, and my brain just says, you're not done. Oh, I thought there was another Facebook user on here whose name was Jordan. I'm sorry. Facebook user. I was just guessing. Facebook user. There I go, assuming stuff again. Dude, it says Facebook user. I don't know who you are. If you're watching this inside of the Silverbacks HQ, that's a private group, and it won't, since it's a private group, it won't let your name come through if you're watching it through Silverbacks HQ. Because I have the group set to private so that if anybody wants to show off artwork or ask pricing questions and stuff, they don't have to worry about, a whole bunch of people being in their business, just the 500 people that are in the group. Yeah, like if I could see your name, I would have given you proper kudos for joining and asking questions, but I'm afraid that at some point someone's going to be like, yo, that motherfucker thinks he's too good to talk to us. Or he's not. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. But yeah, but I really enjoy. I wish I didn't have to have shit so clean, because I enjoy looking at stuff that isn't clean. I like looking at artwork that is, all over the place. Like that's one of the main things that attracted me to Geoffrey style is Geoffrey stuff. It's just so, and your brain can put it together as to what's going on. But when you break it down and just look at it, you're like, well, shit, man, that doesn't even connect to that. There's no waist. The belt doesn't even connect to the belt buckle. It's just so almost chaotic to look at one of Geoffrey's things, and then it just works. I wish I was going to Memphis, man. I can't. I didn't make enough money at Memphis to go back on my dime, and Brian's not a big enough deal to go on their dime. So not this year. I gotta win. Maybe if I win that Ringo Award. But I wouldn't bank on that. But I mean, they're if you look at their guest list, all of those guests that are on their guest list have put out comic books, except for maybe, well, you know what? There's at least one that I know of that has not created a comic book. or illustrated a comic book. But like for the most part, all of their guests are, yeah, Bill Sienkiewicz is like, I didn't, all right, so to be fair, when I was collecting comics in the 90s and the 80s and the 80s and 90s, I did not understand the appeal of Bill Sienkiewicz's work and Morbius or Morbius, either one of those guys. I just for some reason I was like, well, if it didn't look like Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee's style, then I didn't want anything to do with it for some reason. And because I was just all about the clean line art, gotta have that. And I don't feel that way now, but when I grew up, I was very, where the brush? When I grew up, I didn't have the appreciation that I should have, because I was like, if I can't look at their work and somehow just, oh, that's awesome and magical and I can learn from that. Like if it wasn't like that, then I just didn't pay attention. And much like Actors Access, much like so who's this little this is the commission is for Man Thing to be in the swamp protecting this little girl, and the little girl is the daughter of the guy that's commissioning the piece, and she's wearing a Sentinel shirt because all of his commissioned pieces have Sentinels in there. So this is a piece for his daughter. So I'm having trouble figuring out what I'm going to do with these hands. Like they're swamp man hands. And I don't know what I wish I had that damn brush. But I didn't let myself have the appreciation for art styles that weren't something I wanted to emulate at the time. And that was just being pig-headed. I also, when I was, my parents tried to get me to do art like the art way. So they would pay for me to take an art class or something like, I forgot what it's called, extended learning or whatever. BioShock. I'm not familiar. I know what BioShock is, but I wouldn't know what character. So they paid for like art classes, but then I would go into the art class and the lady would be, or whoever the teacher was, would be like, I want you to draw this apple. And then this other one was like, I want you to draw this folded up tinfoil. And I was like, what does this stuff have anything to do with drawing Wolverine or drawing the X-Men? And so I didn't pay attention. I didn't follow the instructions. I didn't try to learn. I wasn't there to learn. I thought that I was only going to get stuff for comic book stuff. Like I was like, I don't want to listen to it. If it isn't about drawing comic books, I don't want to partake. And that was a very poor attitude to have, but I didn't know any better. And so I missed out on a lot of basic art stuff that I didn't realize that I would need. Like I really didn't pay attention to color theory. I didn't pay attention to composition, stuff like that I figured I should have done. Like I've had to learn it now. See, this is a refillable, so this is a so I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to get another one of these, and I'm going to pop it on, and then I'm going to screw it back. Donating a bunch of stuff to Salvation Army. Right on. I take mine to Goodwill because Goodwill's right across the street. I'm not real sure where a Salvation Army is in my neck of the woods. But I will do that over having a yard sale any day. Like if I don't need it, then maybe someone else can have it for $1 or $1.50 or whatever it is. I don't need it anymore. That's something that I did get from my parents. My parents, whenever we were growing up and we would have like, an exercise bike or something that, we bought and didn't use. And then mom and dad would be like, Sean, my brother and I would want to have a yard sale so we could make some money. But they're like, if you don't need it, someone else can use it. So why not just let them? So I've continued that. So now if I find myself in a position to where I no longer need something that's just taking up space, or really if I have clothes and stuff, like with my weight loss, I've had a lot of clothes that don't fit. And with the kids, like they outgrow stuff and shoes and all that shit. And so I just take all that stuff up to Goodwill, and they're always like, do you want what is it, a little receipt or something for you can write off your taxes? And I was like, no, I just feel that if you do that, then you're really not, I'm no longer doing it for the right reasons. I'd be doing it for the tax write-off incentives. So I just elect not to. I elect not to get a receipt. I just drop off my shit and peace out. Drop off my shit and peace out. What's up, Jeremy? Alan, Wilt? I believe Jeremy is a musician. Pretty sure I worked with Jeremy to come up with some theme songs for Kerr and Muerto Noir, when I thought that I was going to be doing Kara Prime shit and I thought it was going to be awesome and all that great stuff. But alas, it was not. This hand I'm really having trouble with. It does not look good. Like I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it, but I can't mess around with it anymore because now that it's wet. So now I have to go mess up this other hand because I really want to get the hands done before I get in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, like, a lot of this right here, this area of the piece. I'm not sure. Jeremy, are you the one that commissioned this? Shit, I lose track. I bet if Jeremy's saying shit like that, then that must mean that Jeremy is the one. Let's see I gotta go back in my messages. Yes, Jeremy Adam Wilding. Yeah, that's you. Yeah, someone commented earlier, Jeremy, that this looked like somehow they saw the little girl and they were like, oh, I think that's BioShock. I'm like, I'm not initiated enough to know what that means. I know what BioShock is, but I don't know which character inside of BioShock this would be. All right, so now that the person that commissioned this is watching, I can no longer say that I don't like things. I have to say that this is the best thing I've ever drawn in my life. This is probably the pinnacle of what my artistic talent will ever generate. I'm just messing with you. It was me. I like when people say stuff and I instantly go to like a movie quote. Like for me, that was Jim Carrey in the elevator when he farted in Liar Liar. It was me. So since this guy's a swampy guy, we can add textures in here too that don't normally appear in that don't normally appear in like people's hands. But we don't want to stray too far from the familiar expectation of what a hand looks like. So we don't want to do that. But we can do stuff. We can do butt stuff. She does look a lot like the girl from the game. Well, I promise you that is unintentional. Can you guys hear the music that I'm playing? Like, there's some generic ass music on the StreamYard that's playing, like the bong 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 bong. But I have my computer over there playing some of my Spotify. But I'm hoping that it's turned down enough to where you guys can't hear it. That way, I don't get banned or whatever all the other stuff I get from people thinking I'm illegally streaming whatever. I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to draw and listen to stuff. But if you guys can't pick it up too good, then I should be okay. I just want to dance with somebody. I just want to dance with somebody. All right, barely. All right, that's fine. That means that you can probably just hear that there is music, but you can't make out exactly what it is. And the more that I talk and just create noise, probably increases my chances of not being heard as well. Yup. So I hope you guys had what's today? Today's Monday. Man, I didn't do shit yesterday, and I'm kind of mad at myself. Well, I did a little bit of this. I did the outline of the girl and the hands. Like, I did all that. Everything that looks detailed, I did that today. But I couldn't find the motivation yesterday. I don't know what it was. I wanted to. I just couldn't find the motivation. So today I did something that I have never done, which was clean my shower. So I cleaned my shower for the first time, and I'm just going to say a long time. So I cleaned my shower because I got to thinking about it. Like, what if, honestly, now that I'm trying to listen for it, I can. So really, like, I was like, one day there may be a female companion that wants to come back to my place, right? Maybe. And if they saw my bathroom, or my shower at least, they would be like, yo, this is just unacceptable. And I have enough working against me that I don't need there to be something like that I can finish. So finally cleaned the bathroom. See, when I did this, there were so many tangents. I don't know, like, this shouldn't end right here. His thumb should not come into the same bend of the hair. Like, it's just so many. And this goes right into the curve. I don't know what I was so irritated. I don't know why I would just ignore that. I mean, granted, when it's colored, things will work right when it's colored. Unfortunately, women like a clean bathroom and a kitchen. No, I get it. I understand. I showed my daughter the preliminary sketch of this, and she said she loves the lizard man. Yeah. And both of those areas are, like I'd say that I cleaned my shower today. I didn't clean the bathroom, by the way. I cleaned the shower. I spent a fucking hour or so cleaning just the fucking shower. But yeah, I know. Like I spent an hour in there, and I probably just got it to the point where a female would say, "Oh, this is dirty." So that means before it was probably, "Oh, this is fucking gross." So I can only imagine. Yeah, well, if we're going to be honest, if we're in the honest hour here, I hadn't cleaned my shower since my ex-wife left, and she had a lot of like soapy products and shit. So all on the walls was just like buildups of goo and squirts of this and that, and just like caked up like lava on the side of the fucking thing. And I just never really wanted to mess with it. I was like, I didn't make this fucking mess. So it was just, but whatever. It's done now. It's done now. It's done now. So see, I shouldn't do this, but I'm doing it anyway. Putting this hard line that separates one object from the next, because the color will do that. But for me, like for some reason, the brain says you got to do that. It's like a confession. Well, man, I don't know what it is. Like I posted earlier on Facebook that I just feel incomplete. And I think part of that is I don't have like a best friend, right? And a lot of the stuff that I'm processing or going through would be the type of shit that you and your best friend talk about when you come over and watch the football game, or you go to the movies, or you go out to dinner or something like that. Like that's the type of stuff that I just try to work through. And it's not all deep shit like, oh, I can't believe that nobody loves me. Like it's not shit like that, but it's just normal everyday stuff. I just want to talk about normal everyday. Let's see. What if we did? Because I really want this to be black. Because I want the moon here to be. Oh, you guys can't see. There's a moon here. I want the moon to be the light source that lights this all up, and I just want it to cascade. Normally, I like to have two light sources, but if I have another light source right here, it's going to illuminate like the chest and the underside of this arm. But what it's going to do, the reason that there's no light source here, is it's going to give away the fact that this position wouldn't be possible. Like, I don't know how his legs would have to be and to make this happen, or he'd have to be in the swamp, and then why wouldn't she be in the swamp too? So because I made the decision to do the composition like I have, if I were to finish this anatomy, this won't work. It'll just look garbage, because you're like, well, why is he standing weird? Where's like, so if I cover up the, like, I was thinking about like, maybe I will have like some shit down here that we just don't, like something that will frame the thing. But if we actually see the earth, And where they make contact, the shit will not make sense. So this is going to be very, very dark and work its way into the light. And it's more of an artistic choice as opposed to like a, what's up, Rob? It's more of an artistic choice to not have this shit because I like the composition the way it is. I like the size of everything. And I like how large the piece is. If I wanted to, what I could have done is I could have shrank everything down and moved it up. And then I could have had the girl a little further down and his arm would have to come a little further down. And that would sit right. But I think at the end of the day, when this thing is all fucking black and got all the stuff going on, I don't think you'll be thinking about that. You could fire up the one side of the stick. Oh yeah, but I don't want a light source here, Ava. Like I'm trying to well now at this point with his little snuffleupagus thing, like that'll get in the way. But I'm avoiding having a light source here on purpose because I could rationalize there being a light source here because if he's in the swamp, we can get refracted light, like reflected light from the surface of the wetlands, and that would always bounce up some blues or greens onto this. Like that was my original idea, was to have like for two light sources, you can just make the shit up. Like, so to any artist out there, if you're doing an illustration, put two light sources in there and you'll be head and shoulders above all your buddies. Because if you could figure out how to do that properly, no matter what you do, it'll always look better with two light sources. But in this case, I'm consciously not having one for two reasons: to hide the incorrect anatomy and to set the mood. Like if she's all lit up, like she's going to be pretty well defined. But if we only see like just creeping over and like this hint of this person, this thing that's behind her protecting her, it gives more of that protector in the shadow vibe, which is what I wanted out of this. Like I wanted, so if he's not fully rendered out, so here it is. The same reason that the movie Jaws works so well is because we did not see the shark for a lot of the movie. It was all, is the shark here? Is he there? Like it was all the mystery of where the shark was. And it was all the suspense of where is he? What does he look like? What is he doing? Like you're just nervous because you don't see the shark. So the more dark, the more of this body that I can conceal with the black as we go forward, like it's what you don't know. And then your mind has to feel, oh, I bet he was all gnarly and he's huge and he's got, a ton of dead bodies behind him or something, like shit like that. I don't know. But that's just kind of where I head is at. So now I'm worried about this. I'm not ready for this right here. Because if I have shit dangly off of him, this is going to be black. So I should do it in reverse. I should draw the black areas and then work my way around. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what I'm going to end up doing is I will get some ink and I will get my dip brush. I think this is the dip brush. I don't know. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's upstairs with the watercolor stuff. But I will use this and I will like artistically start painting in that kind of stuff. I can turn that off. Probably makes the shit look better. So now we can work on this hand here, and then everything else will be like improvisational. Everything else will just be, well, this and the face. Once I get this hand done, we'll go to the face. And then I promise you everything after that is just going to be lots and lots of black paintbrush, just making shapes out of nothing. That's the fun part because you're painting an opposite instead of drawing with this black ink to show you where the edge of the hand is. Like I'll be using black ink to show you where the background is, and then your mind has to fill in the shit that's around it. I should have shaved today too. So what's today? Today's Monday. So tomorrow I have a virtual psychiatrist appointment that I have to get up. Like I don't normally set my alarm, but my appointment is at 8 o'clock. I have a video call at 8 o'clock, so I have to be out of bed before 8 o'clock so I can click the link and be waiting in the room. Use the anti-smudge paper. My smudging? I have my smudge paper right here. I'm not messing up yet. I always wait till I mess up to say, then now I need my smudge paper. You've got to wait for the first mistake. But I think we've already eliminated that for now because this is the area that's drying and we are working on a completely separate area of the piece. And we should not worry about cross-contamination. Oh, and by the way, for anyone that is watching and to include Ava, the next time that you see me do a watercolor painting, I have a fucking awesome idea I want to do. Well, I say awesome. That sounds pretty boastful. I have an idea in my head that I think will make an awesome painting. Because so that girl, I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I just made the name up because it looks cool. But I'll have to figure out. I wanted everyone to make their own pronunciation of the name. And then I would just pick whichever one I liked the best to say, you're the right one. You're the winner. But for the redheaded girl that I'm painting, she's a celestial being that's coming. Oh shit. That's coming to Earth, or she's a celestial being and she is searching the universe for something. I wonder if it could be companionship or love. I don't know. But whatever it is, she's searching. So she's celestial, so she can do all of these. Don't touch her. No. And it's dry, I think, already, so we're good. But so what I'm going to do is I want to have the female interacting maybe with some other life forms. And I don't mean to get all like crazy. I mean like wildlife. Like I want to have, there's one that I want to do. It won't be the next one, but there's one I want to do where I want her to be interacting with a butterfly. And I don't know what that looks like, but I know that would be the idea of it sounds fun for me. So that's why I want to do that one. But the one that I am going to do, I don't want to fully say right now, but it will be a wildlife thing that she's interacting with. So I think that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And I really, if I wasn't working on this, then that's what I would be doing right now, is figuring out how to lay that out and stuff. And it's hard to not, like I want to go do it, but I also like doing this. But for some reason, that watercolor stuff just really fires me up. I wish I was better at the watercolor stuff to be able to like take a commission to be able to say, I'm Greek and studied Greek mythology in college. Yeah, I don't. Well, I already made the name up. I forgot what it is. It's Elyssa. However you would pronounce that. Let me type that out. Let me make sure. Elyssa. Like that's the name. So remember, this side doesn't have much light coming to it, so we can really. I don't know if it's a hard E. Like what? Which one do you think sounds more ethereal? How would you pronounce that and have it sound like Athena and like that it fits with just this, like there's a constellation named after her. So yeah, so the next thing we'll have her. Oh, that is a Greek name? Well, fuck. I thought I was making some shit up. Just like my daughter's name. So my daughter was born in 1998. And I thought that I had made up the name. I had not seen it anywhere. And uh, I was like, Kyra. My daughter's name is Kyra. And I was like, oh, that's a cool name, Kyra. I had never heard that before. And then I realized there's like a person that's 20 years older than me who has that name spelled that way, but her name's Kira Sedgwick. And then Kyra went to school with people named Kyra and Tyra. And I was like, oh, well, shit, man. I had never heard that name. I was like, I'm going to give my daughter a really cool name. And it turned out to be not quite as cool as I had wanted it to be. Still a cool name, but I thought it was more unique than that. Much like this. So I was just sitting there mashing letters together. There's a game character. Well, fuck. All right. Well, whatever. Because what I also didn't want to do is that I may have to change her name then. I need something that I don't have to worry about anybody having a copyright on, or I don't want to mess with that. So I guess I'll just have to come up with a new name. Because if this thing does kick off, or turns into something more than I have in, right now in my head, I certainly don't want to have someone challenging me and be like, oh, well, that's my character. Like I didn't come up with it based on anybody's character. So that sucks. Well, I guess it's not that bad. I don't even know how to pronounce it. Here's where we go. Here's where Brian does his thing. Is he gets all in here and puts these little folds and wrinkles and shit like this to just start making things start to feel. Use an I instead of a E for the first letter. What about an A? Can we put an A in there, like an A at the beginning? I think the A is just so much. I don't like the letter I at the beginning. I like the letter E and A at the beginning, but it has to be a vowel. I think it has to be a vowel. I don't know. I want it to feel feminine on the tongue. Like, So in order to make this finger stand out, what I'm going to do is we're going to black in some of this area right here so that finger stands on its own. Because if his hand was cupped like this, there'd be some spots in there that didn't get light. So we can really help pull that finger forward by blacking out some of this stuff back here. And we'll just carry that on around. Like this area where we start to come in into this new pinky skin right here. And see, now what you've done is you've framed that up. So you've made that finger come out. Now that looks cool, right? I don't know how you'd say it. Alasia. I don't want it. These do not sound like lazy. Lycia. I don't know, but thank you. Yeah, I'll have to do some research and make sure that one's not jammed up so that you can't say, oh, that's a character in a game too. Yeah, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, I'm hoping to get 10 pieces of her complete to make like this story. And then I'll move on to something else and then revisit her. But I don't want to just do her. I'm afraid if I just do her. Oh, well, that didn't. Oh, that stopped charging a while ago. I don't want to just. Oh, somebody ordered something?
That's what she said.
All right, we can do that. To Chad Chambers in Maryland. Word up, man. But I don't want to get stuck with people saying, "Oh, well, he just does that." So I want to do that because I'm having fun with that right now. But I want to make sure that I do other things, and I'm not just, oh, that's the guy that does the blue girl with the red hair. And I'm not saying that because I care a ton what people think. I'm saying that just so I don't put myself into a corner because I'd like to be, I just don't want to put myself into that corner. It's not that I mind doing her. If I could do her for the rest of my life, that's what I would do. But I do need to demonstrate and try other stuff. And if I try to do things while I'm working on a piece for her, I will be less likely to experiment because I don't want to mess it up. So now I have to pick a new girl to experiment on. Like I'm fucking Frankenstein or something. Like, I will experiment on you. And I really should be learning my lines. Golly. Like that's something that I sit there and I'll be like, man, you know what? I'm just I don't want to do my lines either. Especially because I have a fucking 1.5-page monologue. God dang, a 1.5-page monologue. Just doesn't seem fun. At least it's words I understand. One time I had a monologue that was just written in such a way that I just don't speak that way in the way that other monologue was written. And I couldn't get the words to feel right coming out of my mouth. Like I just couldn't, just didn't feel good. At least with this one, I've read through it and it's set up in a way that like I say things like not making up, SAT words and stuff like that just to sound smart. But that looms over my head as like, oh, if you're not drawing, you should be reading your lines. And if you're not reading your lines, you should be cleaning. And if you're not cleaning, you should be, working out. And if you're not working out, you didn't walk the dog today. Why didn't you walk the dog today? There's no excuses. And then when you have all that stuff, you're just like, oh, well, I didn't do any of those things. I'm such a piece of shit. And then you start telling yourself that. And you're like, oh, man. I didn't do any of the things that are productive, any things that move me towards being better at something, whether it's being better physically, being better at your jobs, none of that stuff. All right, I think we're good. Boom, son. So now what we got to do, we get to do the fun part. I guess I need to move the camera because let's see if that works. There we go. A little bit higher. All right, so we just kind of rough this. Oh, we need a number 1. I always do it with a number 1. So that way, like, if we're not super committed to any of the lines, because this drawing on the back, this is just for composition. This is just to see where shit goes. Nothing is set in stone. So I just want to turn the light off that's behind it because it's really distracting to draw with that thing on. So I just want to kind of have this roughness to, because this is what sells it. If it's going to be Man-Thing, I'm starting to see what you're talking about now. I don't know what you mean. But yeah, so I'm trying to just kind of put these pieces out and then figure out, do I want round eyes? Do I want like, because you got to kind of commit now. Like you got to shit or get out the pot. So the other day I was driving home from Chattanooga and this song, it's on my playlist. So I intentionally put it on, but I didn't like tell it to play the song at the time. But this song came on and I just started fucking crying like a motherfucker. It was like, oh man, this is not cool. But nobody was looking. I was just in the car by myself. So I was like, fuck it. Just right on. We'll just do what we got to do and keep moving. So now that I'm talking and I'm not really paying attention to the song, I don't think that I'll be affected the same way. So I'm not too worried about it. Because I'm not really like listening to the words. But if I was listening to the words, I'd be all crying and shit. What is this song called? Somebody You Loved. It's weird because I have these songs that I like that that hit me really emotionally. And a lot of them are about uh, losing someone you loved or whatever. And that's not what I'm going through, which is weird because I'm not, there's nobody in particular that I am like, oh, I will, like there's nobody like that. Like that's not what's going on. But those are the type of songs that will hit my buttons, are the ones where it's like, oh, now that you're gone, I can't, but that's not what I'm about. I saw that. I think I saw that. Sorry about that. Yeah, I never know what to say. I've often thought about it, like, what am I going to say when I have to go to my parents' funerals and stuff? I don't know what to do. I don't want to. I'm not big on. I don't know. I'm pretty odd when it comes to shit like that. Like, I don't want to. No matter. Right on, Ava. More power to you. I wish you all the very best. But I tried, like, I'm of the opinion, like, no matter the amount of crying or mourning or wishing and wishing I could have this moment back and wishing I could do things differently or stuff like that, I just think to myself, I'm like, no matter what I do, that's not going to change where I am now. Like, it's not going to bring the person back. It's not going to, I'll never get whatever the moment is or whatever the thing I wish I had done or any of that stuff. None of that is going to be redone. So I have to be of the opinion that whoever it is that has passed away from me would want me to drive on and not I don't want to use the word waste because everybody does their own things, but I don't want to, like, I would think that they don't want me to waste time and energy on shit that can't be undone. But what can be worked on is how I can be a better person, how I can help somebody. Like, that's, to me, what my job it would be. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I think whoever it is that passes away would want me to focus my energy on helping other people, because no matter how many tears or all that stuff, they can't come back. So I should take all that energy and put it towards a positive thing. But I don't know. Who knows? When the time comes, we'll see how big of a baby I am, or maybe he was just as heartless as he says. I don't know. And when I say things like that, I don't want people to. That is very true, but I don't. I try to, like, just because I believe things to be a certain way, or I have this thought process or whatever, I don't expect everybody to share that same thought process. So I try to respect the fact that my way is not everyone's way, right? Like, so I would never, and when I say things like, oh, well, I would just move on, I wouldn't cry over spilled milk and shit like that, like someone could hear that and think, oh, well, look at this motherfucker. Like, I don't want to put anybody's, like, I don't want to come across as the person that's insensitive to like, oh, he just thinks his way is the only way. No, I don't believe that. It already looks cool. I hope you got, like, I'm hoping that comes through because that shit looks hot. See if I can get it to focus. Oh, see, there goes fuzzy. I've been told I have a huge heart. We'll see what happens. Like, I've pretty much my whole life, like, I've been, like, I've forced myself. I don't know if I've been, like, if it was my job or my duty, but I've been strong and reliable and the problem solver and the fixer and the person that people go to when they need something because they can't figure it out, or maybe they're not strong enough to pull off the whatever it is. And I've always enjoyed being that for other people. I've always taken pride in the fact that when you need me, I will be there. But not everybody can be in the circle of people that I would do that for. Like, you have to have earned it. I have to have seen that you are also a good person and stuff. But sometimes I've always been that guy for other people, I think. And if I wasn't, even if I wasn't called on to perform the duties that I just described, like, I was there in like, if they had a called in, I would have done those things. And just because you didn't call in the favor doesn't mean that I wouldn't have. Oh, this is coming out sweet. So we start doing these little things, and then, like, remember, the light source is gradually coming around. So we can, like, just have the light. We can play with the light without even really doing lines. Like, just do these. Start big, go small. I don't know what the snuffleupagus part is, but it's like very textured. And I don't want it to be like perfectly ribbed. Sometimes, like in the early drawings, or maybe in some of my other stuff, like, it would be segmented into like individual segments, and you could just, like, oh, there's 36 links on that chain and there's not any on this chain. But I've noticed that I like when I've seen other people draw this area of Man Thing, and they've left it very just like more of a bulbous area, as opposed to like a piece of rope that's glued on his head, which is the way I treated it, was the piece of rope that was glued on his head. So I'm trying to incorporate what I've liked about seeing other people's versions of the character, and just have like this just have been part of what's going on. Yeah, that looks cool. I don't want to go too deep into it. Like, I want to just stop right here and be like, yo, this is what you get. Because it's good right now, but so much room to mess it up. And that's another thing about doing the watercolor stuff, like, it doesn't have to look like anything. That's pretty freeing. There's no like, "Oh, that doesn't look like Deadpool," or "That doesn't look like, Scarlett Johansson." Whatever the thing is, but when I do those, it's just like whatever's whatever. And most of the stuff that I get asked to do, like this, like normally is there's an expectation of, "Hey, man, it needs to look like Batman. Hey, man, it needs to look like Deadpool." What's going on, Robert? So when I do the watercolors, there's zero expectation. It's just, oh, I come into it with like an idea of, oh, I want to do this girl and I want to have this position. And that's about as far as, oh, well, this one I did put the little smoke thing in there because I knew I wanted to have something different and I wanted to use my masking fluid. So I was like, so I did know that I was going to incorporate that smoke trail. But other than that, I didn't know what colors were going to be anywhere. And there's no way to tell which way those splatties, like where they're going to dry and shit like that. So it's pretty cool to just have that freedom to not care, to kind of just see what it is and then just go, oh, okay, well, here I can do this and here I can do that. So I want this to kind of swoop around like this. So I got to start putting some more dark as if like it's going around and then popping back out. So this part will get light as it creeps around his head, and then it'll start to get real dark, and then it'll just kind of be in this darky area. Thank you, Robert. So when I come through, I will have to add like this. I'll have to add like a little art in here to kind of help facilitate the fact that this is coming off like out of there. See, look at that. Something like that. And then this will come back into doing this. Because this will be underneath, so like right up under here. This will all be kind of like this. So I guess we should go ahead and do that. Oh, see, look at that. I needed my paper. Turn your camera so we can see the top. Turn your camera so we can see the top. Oh, I can probably just zoom out. Let's see. There, like that. So like if the light is coming from over here, almost all of this would be really, 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 really in the shadows. And we discussed earlier that that's the whole thing of this piece is the shadows. So the light may creep in, although it technically wouldn't. It's this, the moon is going to be behind them, so it doesn't. This is all ludicrous anyway, but All right, now we're going to get into the coolness. I know I'm good, Ava. I'm kidding. I know that you're talking about the camera. Now, what do I want to do with it? It'd be cool to do the opposite. But in order to do the opposite, we'd have to have another light source because we could do this all black and have the white spots come through, but we'd have to have that light source. And that's why thinking about your light source is important, because if I just illustrated it, both of them the same side, it's not very like dynamic, but how cool would it be if you have another light source here, and instead of like, these are holes, like there's like this sheet of moss that hangs down, right? So these are like holes in the moss, these black things. But what if this was all black and the holes would be white because of the light shining through the other side? Like, how that would be fucking dynamic. That would look cool. But you'd have to have put forethought into where your lights are before you just got up, started drawing. All right, that's about as far as I'm willing to go with that right now. So yeah, there's this right here there'd be a lot of cast shadow because of this snuffleupagus part. So no matter what's going on, there's going to be this huge area of shadow that just we wouldn't see anything. So there, you got it. So now we can just kind of ease into doing these. And then we'll do some danglies. But right now, I think we're pretty much at, how much long am I going? Hour and 15 minutes. I think I'm pretty good to stop. To stop. I got done enough work for today. I'm just kidding. Now, you worked for an hour and 15 minutes and that's all you did for today? Yeah, but you should have seen all the thinking I was doing. So right here, we're going to lose some of the light. So we're going to start coming out of here. And now we'll go back to wrapping it around back over to this side. Like a little transition. I think if a lot more artists understood lighting. Good night, Ava. Yeah, I don't know when that'll be. Someone asked me today about doing a cover for them, but he was like, he has to check with the other people and see if they want to do it. So I may have some other thing to work on because this is being picked up at a convention that I won't be going to until the end of the month. So I have some times. But I think if more artists understood how to bend light, how to use light for themselves, they could really up their game. Because most of them will just be like, oh, this is my one light source. And then, yeah, that's great. And you're a great artist, but man, you could be better. What I'm starting to see now, since I've been doing this for a little while. Yeah, me too. Thank you, Robert. What I've seen now is I've been doing it for a while and I see a lot of the same people at shows because, no one, we all live kind of locally, so we'll all appear at the same shows or whatever. And then you start to see that some people don't seem to be advancing, like their work does not appear to have gotten better over the years. Like they're good, they're fine, but doesn't really seem like there's been any improvement. And I'd like to believe that my work has improved. Like if you looked at, what I did 4 or 5, 6 years ago, like there would be a noticeable difference in the work. But that could just be me in my own head. But I do feel like, come on, man, like I want everybody to win. So let me start with that. Like I don't say this in a look at that jabroni kind of way. Like I'm saying it like I wish that more people would not enjoy where they are and want to the improvement. But I don't know their life circumstances. I don't know, maybe they've been dealing with, raising their mom or their grandkids' parents who are drug addicts or something, whatever the case may be. There's a million different things, but I see people that are still drawing and I'm like, man, your shit looks just like it did when I first met you, whatever years ago. And then there's artists like professional artists, and this is not a friend of mine. This is not somebody I know personally, but they got popular back in the 90s. And like their art almost looks to me like it's gone backwards. Like they believe that they no longer have to try. Like this is my work. People are going to want it because it's my work. And they don't even feel like it's weird to say like their 90s work was better. There's been no improvement. And no, I'm not talking about Frank Miller. Like that's just a whole different thing. I can't explain. I can't, he's going to do what he's going to do. I mean, he's Frank Miller, right? Maybe this is just a phase that he's trying out, like I don't know. I can say this, I'm not a fan of the new style, but I don't have to be a fan of everything an artist does. There's been things that Todd McFarlane has done, and I'm like, ugh, really? You think that's what you should have done with that? Well, he did have a lot of health issues, so there's always that. And I don't think since those health issues, I've seen work that I thought was up to his old levels. I mean, even when he did like the Dark Knight Returns and all that, like there was still an element of unrefined to the style that he was doing. But it seems to have escalated. All right, so we're going to have to shadow in. So if this part pokes out a little bit, let's say some sun gets in there, then we got to start cascading down through there.
That's what she said.
What did she say? Did she say send me an email? Oh yeah, I got to get that guy's order together. LinkedIn. I don't even use LinkedIn. Sure, if I did, there's always those people that'll say, you know what, you could probably make 1 million sales if you joined this, if you put some effort into this platform, and if you joined this platform and did this, this, and this, and this, I'm sure you'd make $1 million. And I'm just like, how many times do I have to try all these different things? And I can't. I'm just one person. I cannot do all the things. You know what? You probably make a killing on Whatnot. You should probably get on Whatnot. You should get on Whatnot. Like, fuck. I don't like Whatnot. I don't want to be. I think my personal opinion is I think some of the people that are on Whatnot are really just taking advantage of people that don't mind being taken advantage of. Like I'm not mad at the people that are using Whatnot, but it just seemed like to me it seems underhand. Like I don't. It doesn't seem. Yeah, I just don't know. Something about the way it's really just powered by FOMO and people. And once you bid, like people, you can give them shit. You're like, oh, I'm taking commissions and I'll be doing this for the 3 minutes and you get this and then you get this. And you're like, man, but I just don't, something about it doesn't sit right with me. And that doesn't mean that it's not right for other people. It's just, I can't find the morality for it for me. Just doesn't feel like what I want to associate with. Now, if I was a vendor, let me like if I was more than just Brian, the creator guy, I don't have a problem with vendors and retailers and shops and stuff using Whatnot. Like that seems perfectly fine to me. But I think there's creators on there that use the platform and just maybe they're a little dishonest about, like, oh, I'm only going to print 3 of these and this and this. And, what do you? Who's keeping track? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe there's retailers and publishers that are doing the same thing. Like, oh, we only made 3 of these metal covers, and then y'all better get them. And then next week they'll have the same cover and be like, we've only got 3 of these covers. We found some in the back room. Well, motherfucker, you told me last week that you only had 3. That's why I paid $150. And now you're saying you found some more in the back room. What is that even? Like, come on, man. As far as Brian is concerned, like Brian is on social media. You want to buy some of my shit? Go to my website or message me and you can get some. That's how you do it. Find me at a show. I don't need to go through the stress of setting up an online store and doing all. I have an online store, silverbacks.com. I don't have to do one every Thursday at 10 o'clock to, oh man, tonight on Whatnot, I'm going to have this, that, and the other, and then this thing and this thing. And I found one more of these. Remember last week they sold out? Found some more. You're like, motherfucker, I paid extra last week because I thought that was the last one you had. That not everybody's deceitful, but this it certainly does lend itself. Like there certainly is some shade going around in there, and it's not just the creators. It's some of the publishers too run their own little Whatnot store and magically find shit in the back room. Find it tough to believe you don't know what your inventory is. Especially when it comes to the high dollar items. You're like, oh, this is our super gold dipped in diamond cover. You know, we found 3 of these in the back. And you're like, oh shit, like that's really, you know, a sought after cover. They would know how many they have of those. They wouldn't just be like, oh, I found this in the back room. They would know when they made 10, they would know exactly the moment they sold out of those 10. And there'll be people that watch this stream and be like, oh, is he talking about me? Maybe. Is it you? I don't know who it is, but if you're feeling a little bit guilty, maybe it is you. Tell you it ain't. All right, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. We got like that's the heavy lifting. We found these hidden in a box in the back. All right, everybody. I hope you guys have a excellent work week. And Friday, I'll be spending time with my brother because his birthday's on Friday. So we'll probably go get some steak and watch a movie or do something. I don't know. What do you do when you turn 45? All right. See you guys. Y'all be good. Stay creative and get shit done, by the way.